I was always afraid as a kid coming past it.
There was people that were murdered here. She didn't know how many.
This has always been reputed to be the Staffelbecker Bordello.
The old bordello, which I used to own, is haunted.
Honey, I'm home. I killed him.
Are you hanging out in this house because you're scared to go to hell?
You might knock her ass down, but she's gonna land back on her feet.
Welcome to Galena, Kansas, home of the notorious murder bordello. Join us on this episode of Shadows on 66.
Can you keep my secret?
Holy shit.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for Close to Death. I'm Selena with Fear Paranormal, and I have a very special guest tonight, a good friend of mine named Annette Porterfield. Annette, are you with us? We're having some issues with her video.
I'm here.
All right, cool beans. For those of you who do not know, she is the founder of Texas Ghostly Gatherings. And why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, since they may not be familiar?
Well, I am born and bred here in Texas. I grew up in Dallas, moved to Austin for a while, and came back to Dallas. And I just love Texas in general and don't plan on leaving.
Okay, so you just kind of a nomad all around Texas and don't ever, you can't get it out of your blood, huh?
I've lived all the way up and down I-35.
Wow. Well, so how did you get started in the paranormal, for one? Kind of interested in that because I never have really asked you that.
Well, actually, I had experiences beginning early in childhood. And it was always just a regular part of my life. And as I got older, I had more questions about it. And it's not anything that scares me, but I do have a lot of questions. So that's why I try to investigate as much as I can.
Yes, and you definitely stay busy doing that. I always call you the Paranormal Wonder Woman because you've got so many events and stuff going on with your group that you never have a dull moment over there, for sure.
Well, yeah, Dole is, yeah, it's completely overrated. I have to stay busy, and what better way to do that than with the paranormal?
Exactly. So, tell us a little bit about your group and when you started it and how I know it's grown in leaps and bounds in no time, so.
Yeah, I started Texas Ghostly Gatherings in November of 2011, so we just turned 2. I started it because the groups that were in existence at the time weren't very active, and so there really wasn't a venue for me to do these things. And so I started this group, really wondering if there was going to be enough interest for me to maintain it. And the biggest part of this group was so that new people could get started and learn from veteran investigators. I had found in my search for investigative groups that not very many were willing to take newbies. They really wanted experienced people, and it was really hard to get in here and there whenever I could. So that was the reason I started TGG. And it, like you said, it has grown. It really has amazed me, the enthusiasm that people have for this and the way that it has just skyrocketed. As of a few days ago, we have about 320 people that, participate on and off at different times. And I'm just surprised all the time by the number of people that join and where they come from.
Yeah, they're all over the place, and I've met a lot of them on different things that you've held, like at the Dr. Pepper Museum, and we met at the Myrtles, which was an amazing event, to say the least, and an amazing place. We had a lot of fun there, inside and out of the Myrtles, and that's kind of where we met. And we've also been to the Pythian together, which was another interesting place. Out of all the places that you've set up events and set up investigations, what was your favorite so far? Do you have a favorite or top 5 maybe that you could tell us about?
That's really tough.
Sorry, I didn't warn you about that one. I was going to.
That's okay. As far as TGG specific events, Dr. Pepper was really interesting. There were so many different stories. It's not a location that has been investigated very much, and so we really didn't know what we were getting into. But that one had such a variety and such a consistency that really is one of my favorite places at this point. Earlier this year, we went to Philadelphia and went to the Pennhurst Asylum and Eastern State Penitentiary.
So jealous.
that was really a phenomenal trip. Just because these are, really infamous locations, and it's nice to actually be in some of the places that we see on TV.
Exactly.
So, and then I do like the smaller locations I try to find places that are lesser known. We kind of run a risk doing that because we don't know what we're getting into, and I try not to get into places that are, demonic or anything like that.
True.
But they're also more interesting, so I try to balance it out.
Well, so far all the events that I've been on that you have set up or gotten set up or whatever have been really cool, and I do have to agree that Dr. Pepper was really a cool place. Besides the pictures that were captured there, and I don't know of any EVPs so far, but the apportation that happened with me and Penny and Maddie was pretty crazy. And, that I can't wait to go back. My son was very bummed out that he had to miss Dr. Pepper, so we will not be missing Dr. Pepper this next time. He made me promise that we couldn't miss that one. So we did have a chance last night to investigate together, which was really kind of funny.
Always a blast with you.
Always. If we don't get activity, by God, we're going to have at least a good time and try to stir it up. But
that's for sure.
Last night was very interesting. Annette and I have no problems taking newbies out, and especially after the fun we had last night, I can't wait to do that again.
Well, I'll tell you, I did get some feedback from all 3 of them, and my stepbrother that went with us, and they are hooked. And that's exactly what I expected. I thought they were going to be hooked, you know.
That's good stuff.
That was a lot of fun. So I'm glad you could come out for that and bring all the cool stuff, all your cool toys that we could play with and try out. I appreciate that for sure.
When that periscope went off and your friend was like, "Okay, I'm out."
Yeah, she put on Facebook last night that she was going to sleep with the lights on. So
I wondered about that because she was sure jumpy when she was. What was that? What was that? I mean, every.
Well, and I think after the spirits kicked me out of the room, she really kind of freaked her out a little bit.
Twice, no less. They were like not wanting you in that room at all. It was so crazy.
I've never experienced that, so that was really a great experience for me as well as for the newbies.
Yeah, because we were in Granbury at the Hood County Jail, and we were upstairs, and we had periscopes going off, and we had REM pods getting. I mean, just that one REM pod right there on that landing upstairs was crazy. It just kept going off. I thought, is the battery jacked up? So I went and took it out and took it downstairs, and it just stopped going off. So I'm like, okay. Talking Tina didn't get very much action last night, though. Dang it. We had I have a trigger object that's like a honey boo boo cousin is what I call it, of Barbie. And her name's Talking Tina, and she wasn't getting a whole lot of activity on with my trigger prop last night. But the REM pods and the periscopes and the photos and just the personal experiences all to themselves was greatness.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the REM pod that just wouldn't stop.
Yeah, it was insane, and just to see their faces and to see them. The excitement, I remember how that was when you were on one of your first, investigations, and something would happen. You'd get all like silly and giddy and like, oh my God. And it brought back good feelings of that first time,
Yeah, it did. I look forward to we have so many great things on the calendar for next year already. And so I look forward to meeting people in that whole process, particularly the newbies, but it's always fun to see the veterans again that I don't get to see very often because we are so spread out across the state,
Yeah. Well, it's Texas Ghostly Gatherings. It's a pretty big state. So when we were at the Lawrence Hotel with that group, we weren't getting a whole lot of activity, but we sure did have a lot of fun, and we cut up a whole lot. It was a very interesting evening. We did have stuff happen and things like that, but I just like the idea of the Texas Ghostly Gatherings at TGG because of all the different people and investigators that I've been able to kind of branch out from my own team and learn things from them, and maybe even teach them, a few things about maybe pieces of equipment that they had no idea about. It's kind of a win-win for everybody, and it's always, I've never had a bad time anywhere that I've been with your group. So,
well, great. I'm glad to hear that. I'm a really big advocate for Paraunity.
Yeah.
And I'm a big advocate for, helping other groups and, people that sell equipment and other things. There's no reason we can't work together for that.
Exactly. Well, it shouldn't be a competition out there anyway, because we're all going, fear's real big about Paraunity, as you know, too. And there shouldn't be a competition, I don't think. I really don't think there should be. I think that we're going after the same answers. We have pretty much similar questions. So why don't we all try to meet this in one spot and agree on, maybe we don't all see on the same level what each other sees, but at least we can agree to not disagree, you know what I'm saying? Not fight about it. Let's just say, let's support one another. You know what I mean? Not dog on each other. And that's something that I've kind of found disheartening in some spots, that, there's a lot of real mean crap going on, and I don't understand all that, because it just is unnecessary. It's unnecessary.
Yeah. And that was also part of, why I created TGG, because the few groups that were active at the time, there were a lot of, interpersonal disputes and fights and bickering and all of these things. And I'm really glad to say that with TGG we really haven't had that issue. We've really started from the beginning talking about respecting each other, and sometimes you just have to agree to disagree.
Exactly.
None of us have all the answers. That's why we're together.
No.
So it's been really good. I mean, not that we haven't had, small, little things, but for the most part, everybody gets along.
Yep.
And I really kind of keep an ear out because I don't want to have dissent among the troops, so to speak.
Right. Well, I mean, and you do such a great job and you spread all your events out. That's the thing that's so cool, is that you have events. You could have 2 events going on the same weekend, but some may be in Austin and some may be in Dallas, or some may be in San Antonio, or, you try to cover all your people, and that's pretty cool. And I know some places are really hard, like West Texas. I don't know a whole lot about West Texas, so I'm sure it's hard trying to find places and coordinate all this when you have 2 and 3 going on in the same weekend in different spots. I know that's kind of crazy. That's why I call you the Wonder Woman all the time, because I'm wondering, how does she keep all that crap and work and take care of your kid and all this other stuff? How does she do all that?
Well, you know what? It's a team effort, really. I mean, I just try to put things together, but I get ideas from other investigators in the group, and others will lead for me when I can't be there. Jackie Milligan, she organizes also, as well as leads. And of course, she does Phantom Fest, which is a phenomenal event in and of itself.
Yes, ma'am.
So I by no means deserve all the credit. It takes a village, right? And so
it does.
This is no different. I cherish every one of the investigators because everybody does bring something to the table. We all have something to contribute. It's just a matter of working together. So, I appreciate that because I try to have a variety of things and meet, the requests of others when there are special requests. It is tough sometimes, but that was the risk I took when I moved to Dallas and decided to branch out beyond Central Texas. But when you have great people like TGG has, it makes it a whole lot easier to facilitate.
Yeah, I'm sure. We've had a whole bunch of fun every time that, like I said, that I've been, and I've met different people, I think, at each event. What are some of the events that you have planned for next year? I know one of them is pretty incredible, and we're working on another one, but that's going to be a little bit down the road. But you've got Limp Mansion and what coming up in Missouri?
Yeah, we have Limp Mansion in St. Louis and Missouri State Prison in Jefferson City, Missouri. Jackie's put that together, and we went to Limp Mansion earlier this year, had a great time. So, we look forward to taking out a larger group, this time around. But, yeah, we've got that coming up in, I believe, April. We'll be going to Marfa, check out the Marfa lights, as well as do some investigation out in that part of the state in March. And then we're working on Waverly Hills for next year, for 2014 as well. We don't have a date for that yet, but
September, right?
What's that?
Isn't it around September, like Scarefest time?
Well, I don't know because we can't schedule yet with them. They won't let us schedule till after.
Till after January.
Yeah, and so it's kind of hard to tell when we're going to get in on that because everyone has scheduling issues or what have you. But we're trying to attack the paranormal bucket list, so to speak, and try to make one big trip a year. If we can do it. Yeah. So, and then of course, Phantom Fest comes up in 2014. It'll be the end of September.
September this time. Yeah, that's what she said. Like real close to mine and T's anniversary, actually. So
yeah,
I told her, I said, Phantom Fest is like on our anniversary. She goes, are you trying to tell me if we're going to spend our anniversary at Phantom Fest? I go, maybe. She goes, wow.
Who doesn't love San Antonio? I mean, but yeah, and I'm working on some investigations around the state right now. we've got a few things already, and just trying to do some research, because you know how it is. It takes a lot of research to find places.
Yes, it is, and it's also hard. It's almost harder to find who exactly to talk to at those places to get permission to get in.
You're not getting. Oh my gosh, it's a struggle.
I know. It's like, man, I tell you, we were trying to get a thing together for Fear in East Texas in this ghost town. And we had one of the guy's daughters trying to get in touch with somebody, and she never could find anybody. I said, what is it, like a real ghost town? Like there's nobody to talk to? And she goes, I couldn't get anybody. I mean, they went around the world almost trying to find somebody, and they couldn't find anyone to get in there. So they're like, oh, well. So we kind of gave up on that. It does get a little difficult at times. But so about the Baker Hotel type thing that you were talking about with the mineral wells thing that sold out, I'm pretty excited about that. Now you're going to have another one, of course.
Yeah, that house sold out a lot faster than I thought. And of course, the Baker Hotel is just a dream. I'll do anything to get into that place.
Yeah, except what those idiots that just screwed everybody up in Louisiana just did.
Oh, that's so tragic.
I cannot believe that when Michael put that on your wall, and you got a call about it too last night. I was like, really, people? And then when I looked at the photos, I'm like, they weren't really ghost investigators. They weren't really investigators. Those looked like punk kids. You know what I'm saying? Just looking to get in trouble. They really didn't look like a team, or not a team has a look, but they definitely didn't look like.
You're right. I think they were just out for a good time. They gave the rest of us a really bad name.
Yes.
I mean, it's already hard enough as it is for us. Even for
they were crazy coming into it. They're like, okay, people, whatever. And now you might set my crap on fire. Yeah, I'm probably going to let you in here. Yeah, it really makes me mad because it makes it hard. There's always one bad apple, though, and there just happened to be like, 5 to 7 of them this time?
Yeah,
it really screwed up stuff, but I think the people with the good reputations, like, your organization and Fear has and other teams that I know, I think that it's going to be, it'll be fine. I think they'll figure out that they weren't really a true investigative team or whatever, and they were just punk kids jacking around, being really stupid.
Well, it's tragic, the loss of history that occurred when that burned down. That was a phenomenal place that had great historical value. And now it's gone, and it's just tragic.
Just like the Pride House, a dishwasher or something crazy started that fire. And this was the first bed and breakfast in the state of Texas, and it's disheartening. That's all. It's just really sad. So of next year, what are you looking the most forward to in your investigations? I know that 2015 is going to bring an incredible trip for you guys, which, God, I would love to go.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that one.
I hope you can make that one. Yeah, Jackie has set up a great trip to Ireland. We'll be spending a week in a really amazing castle that, as I recall, was built like in the 1200s or something crazy like that.
Wow.
Blackwater Castle. Yeah, and so we'll be there for a week. We'll have run of the castle just for our group. And we'll be able to, really do some serious investigation during that time, and as well as checking out Ireland and whatever else we want to do during that week. So I really look forward to it, and it's amazing because the RSVP list is already half full.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, too bad that I can't get your video to work so you can see T's stink eye she's giving me.
Oh, no.
She's looking at me like, girl, your paranormal budget is busting at the seams already.
I really need a sugar daddy for this.
No, Annette's been looking for her sugar daddy, T. She's like, I can't do this. That's what my aunt calls T, my sugar mama. I'm like, yeah, well.
Yeah, well, and hopefully, because I have been getting quite a few emails from people now out of Houston and coastal areas, which, is amazing, as well as a lot of response on the Facebook for Panhandle area. And
Really?
yeah, those are not areas that we have investigated yet, but there's quite a few, requests. So I think it really deserves some attention to at least start doing some research and potentially go out there a little bit, at least one or two a year. It's such a far, reach for a lot of people out of Central Texas and South Texas.
Well, you can always check out Fear Houston girls down there, and I know they know a lot of stuff about Houston. If you want to hook up something down there, I'm sure they know a lot of places. And also, I have a friend out there with Ghost Tracks Paranormal out in Midland area, out in West Texas. We can he'll probably know something about Panhandle stuff as well. So,
right.
Yeah. Hey, we got connects, girl. That's how we roll.
Yeah, I talked to Leslie.
In
Houston.
LaBay?
Yeah. And so we talked a little bit. And so, definitely I will hit her up when I get ready to start doing stuff. It's just right now with the job and my girl and grad school and everything else, I just can't really put a whole lot of brain power to it quite yet. So eventually.
Let me tell you, you're amazing. That's all I can tell you, because I look at Tina and I'm like, I don't know how she does all this stuff. And I know Jackie and them help you, and Jackie's got some amazing contacts as well. She's gotten y'all into some really, really cool spots. I kind of wanted to ask you, since Jackie's around the Austin area, what was that place that you told me that you were really extremely, you liked a lot in Austin? Didn't y'all stay at like Mark Twain's place or something like that? Wasn't that in the Austin area?
Oh, it was a private home that
okay.
we were able to get in, a friend of a friend kind of a thing.
Okay.
So it was not an official investigation, but it was not Mark Twain's place, but I slept in his bed is what it was, in Mark Twain's bed.
Okay.
And it's this amazing historical home. Just the grounds were beautiful. We were happy just to sleep on the grounds at that point, It was just amazing. But actually that one was something that Danielle got us into. Danielle Hennington, she got us into that, and it was just a couple of us that we were allowed to go in. But as far as Jackie, yeah, she's a powerhouse. I don't even know how she does what she does. Phantom Fest, I can't even wrap my brain around the work that it takes to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, trust me. I'm trying to help her score a return guest. And that's been a little bit, I'm trying to sweet talk, but I'm sure it'll happen. Maybe I shouldn't say I'm sure, because I'm not psychic and shit like them.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can get a lot of those people back. And Jackie said that there's already vendors that are like wanting their vendor table, and I'm like, shoot. Well, we'll get a vendor table, because I love San Antonio. I wish I had more time to actually look around the Riverwalk and things like that. And I kind of wish we had a little bit more time at the investigation that I went on. But I did get to investigate with Chip Coffey and Deborah Wilson, and that was pretty amazing.
They are the nicest people ever.
I know, right? And
it is so crazy.
She's so good, though. When she walks around you, you could be kind of, and by the time she walks away, you're smiling. Her energy is just really, really good. And the investigation that I had with them was pretty emotional. She was at the sharecroppers cabin that sits inside the Texas Institute of Cultural, or whatever it is that UT owns.
Yeah.
And I can never get that name right.
Institute of Texas Cultures.
Thank you very much. But yeah, I can never get that right. But when she's sitting at that sharecroppers cabin and she was singing Amazing Grace, I got chills like no. I was like, who's singing? It sounded like an angel was singing. And I just stopped investigating pretty much and just put my camera on her and just sat there and watched her interaction with the spirit, Mr. Joseph. And she almost brought me to tears a couple of times, because she was so in tuned with his plight. You know what I'm saying? Like she was saying, because of you, Mr. Joseph, I can walk around with my head held high. And it got really touching. And there was a whole lot of activity around there. So I didn't even really check out the other floors. I stayed there with Deborah and Chip, and it was pretty moving. And I wish we'd have had more time. There was shadow figures there. Nobody really buys the orb thing anymore, so I don't really even talk about those. I mean, seriously, you know, I mean, there could be something to some of them, but most of them, I've been pretty much, everybody goes, they're dust contaminants, throw them out. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, but, so what exactly did you think about the Myrtles when we were there the last time?
Well, you know, we had, you know, some really interesting stuff happen at the Cocoa House. And between, you know, my hearing and feeling some things, and then the periscope went nuts in that closet. That was a pretty amazing place, you know, and just the history of it, and just experiencing, you know, that whole environment out there. I mean, it was hot as crap out there. Oh my gosh.
Thank God we're going I'm going again in January because Chip's going to be there.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God. And I couldn't pass it up. I mean, we got a cabin, and there was like, I think I filled up half the cabins for them, because every one of my friends were like, oh God, I want to go. So they got a cabin, but I can't wait to see what Chip gets, because he's never been there before.
Oh, wow. That would be pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. And Chip, just going to the Galena Bordello with him and working with him at that place, you know, that was pretty amazing, just to see him do his thing. You can see it on TV, and it's so edited and so just for TV that you kind of miss some stuff. But when you get to work with Chip and see exactly his gift, it it definitely changed my thoughts on psychics and mediums. I've always looked up to Chip and watched him throughout the years, but when you actually see, and it actually has validation right then and there, it's pretty intense. So,
yeah, I would definitely go back. You know, when I can do that again, I don't know, but the Myrtles was pretty cool, and even Pythian, you know, the castle was pretty cool. You know. Yeah,
we were down in the POW. It's where they kept the POWs locked up, right?
Right.
And it was down in the basement area, and it was me and Annette, and we were in the POW cell, and we put the periscope down. And did we have a pyramid that went off as well, or was it just the periscope?
I want to say it was just a periscope, but I don't remember exactly anymore.
Okay. Well, we were down there, and all of a sudden we said, is there any spirits here that want to communicate? You know, we're not going to harm you or whatever. We're just curious. And all of a sudden, the periscope went really slow all the way across, and I'm like, all right then. And we chased that spirit, I swear to God, into 3 or 4 different rooms, and we're like, are you seriously going to make us chase you everywhere? When you and Jackie went, didn't you get some other activity upstairs where didn't they commit suicide upstairs in the Pythian Castle? Wasn't that?
I don't know what group that was. We had some things happen down in the death chute, but it was kind of hard to tell, you know, what was true activity and what wasn't. It's kind of hard because there were so many people. But we did have some things that, you know, may or may not have been paranormal in the death chute. But Jackie and Kelly and I, we had a great time going up there. You know, it was fun. Just, you know, a bunch of girls piling in the car, driving across a couple of states. Who doesn't love that?
I can't imagine how many bags you guys and bags of and cases of equipment and everything you had to have. I don't even know how y'all even fit in the car, because I know when I went with Brad and Barry up to Galena, it was them 2 big guys in the front and me like this in the back with boxes stacked up everywhere, and it was like, this is insane. We need to rent a van or something.
Yeah, I've decided that I need a much bigger SUV. But we are talking about renting something for the Limp Mansion trip, because it is, you know, quite a drive. I think it's like 8 hours or something to St. Louis.
Yeah, about that, 7-8 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I've got a little RAV4, so and there were 5 of us in this car. It was just crazy, but you know, it was fun. I mean, you know how it is when you're an investigator and you're hardcore like we are.
Yeah,
you figure it out. But I look forward. Lemp Mansion's a beautiful place, and of course down the street is Lemp Brewery. We've not been able to get in there, but we walked around it last time, and it's just this ominous building. It's quite beautiful, tragically beautiful somehow, because it's not the brewery anymore. It's empty for the most part, and I don't know. It's just kind of a cool place, and then there's tunnels underneath, and so just the history of all of that is pretty interesting, just for the historical purposes. But so TGG has a lot of ideas. Jackie and I have talked a lot about stuff. Kelly and I, we have lots of ideas. It's just a matter of having the time to put it into action.
Yeah, no doubt. And
we have a lot of people. We have a lot of people who are enthusiastic, and a lot of people who will do these things. It's just the time and energy and the money that it takes to set it up.
Yeah, that's where the hard part comes, is the deposits and stuff that you got to come up with to hold the places to let people go and investigate. That's where the fun comes. It's getting all the money when we don't get paid for this,
Hey, right? Yeah. And and a lot of people, particularly the new people, they come in and they don't realize that these things take money. We don't get access for free.
No.
And all the time I get emails, well, why does it cost, X number of dollars? Well, because we're going to be in the Dr. Pepper Museum, until 3 a.m. and someone has to sit there with us and, pay for that.
Yeah, that's not cheap. But not. So we talked about adding a spot in Carthage, Missouri to that little trip too, but we're going to have to probably make that another trip. But the Kendrick House is the one that I had suggested trying to check out.
And I think we definitely should make that a separate event, because I don't want us to overlook that.
No, because I'm telling you right now, and even if we could do the Galena Bordello, because it's just right there, it's unfortunate that Lisa doesn't have the Olivia apartments for now. Hopefully we can get those back, because that's where Al Capone's aunt lived. And Lisa Livingston Martin, she's freaking amazing, and she's an author as yourself. No, I'm just kidding. that was just kidding.
Hey, I did write a book in junior high. That counts for something.
I know, we talked about that, so we're good. But no, she's got any type of history that you want to know about Missouri or Civil War. That woman is the plethora of information, and it was so amazing to take Penny with Penny's abilities and walk in that place, and for Penny to feel something and get something, and then her to go, "Yep, you're right on the money." That was pretty cool for Penny to be validated right away. Instead of having to go and look and see if there's a name there that matches or the story matches or whatever. I mean, Lisa's right on top of it. She knows all the history. So that's who we definitely need to talk to about going to the Kendrick House, because she pretty much oversees that. But I definitely want to go on that trip. Now, I did get some interesting news. I wish to God you could go to this event, just as fun, not even as TGG, but the Savannah, Georgia trip.
I'm so jealous.
Gave my money for, because it's a little expensive, but it's okay. It's worth it. I'll get to meet Adam Berry and Steve Gonzalez, and of course Chip will be there, and God knows who else.
I'm so jealous.
I know. Well, Savannah, Georgia, I had no idea was on the coast. I mean, and I'm thinking it's in the middle of, Georgia somewhere, and I look and I'm like, oh, wow, it's like right there. Like South Carolina and everything, like right there. I'm like, how cool is that? So,
well, if Kelly is
there for us too.
Kelly is listening, she might try to take you out so she can go meet Steve.
I'll try. Maybe I'll try to do a little 2 and 2 hookup or something with.
Yeah, that's there's so many places in the country, and that's where it gets really tough for our annual big trip. I try to send out a poll to everybody to see where people want to go, and everyone votes, because I don't want to make this decision myself. Again, this is a team effort, so the team votes, and this year Waverly had the top number. So I want to get out to Savannah eventually. I want to get out to the lighthouse, to the St. Augustine Lighthouse. I want to, there's all kinds of places. And even my family in New Mexico have been emailing me, hotels and hospitals and things in New Mexico. And it's like, oh my gosh, I just can't get to everything.
I know, you're like, I'm only one lady. Jesus Christ. That's
But
so
I tell you
funny.
what, as soon as I'm done with grad school, I am just going to just blow up on this because there's just so much I want to do.
I know, we've got both of our bucket lists we were talking about. It's pretty damn long. The one thing that I really think we should concentrate on getting to is the event at the Stanley Hotel in November of next year. It's going to be kind of tough, though, because of holidays and because of the possible big trip to Waverly / Scarefest. I know that Waverly you have to do during the week, though, right? Because don't they have stuff on the weekends they won't allow teams to rent? Or
Yeah, I think it has to be. I think you can do Friday night, but not Saturday night, I think is what it is. So,
oh, okay.
Because we were looking at, what we try to do is, when we went to Philly, is we did, both the prison and the asylum because it is such an expensive trip. So we try to hit a couple of places at least.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're going to do the same thing and going to Waverly is try to do a couple of things to make it more worth our while. As if Waverly wasn't enough of a reason anyway.
Right, exactly. I mean, man, that place, I've heard nothing but good stuff coming out of that place. Like every time a team goes in there, I've never heard anyone walk away with it, not at least one EVP. You know what I mean? Just one.
Well, and of course, a byproduct of these trips is, as a team, spending time together and getting to know each other. That in and of itself is worth quite a bit to me. I really enjoy those times.
Well, and I mean, you sit around like we were talking last night. We told the newbies, look, this is not what you see on TV, just like you were telling them. It's really boring sometimes. You sit and you talk to yourself in the dark and you hope to God there's a voice on that recorder when you're listening back because otherwise you may have just certified yourself as crazy for sitting there talking to the air. But we're a little crazy anyway. So, but yeah, it's the EVPs and stuff how many EVPs have you actually captured as far as voices that keep, have you gotten more EVP stuff? Have you gotten more photographic evidence, or did you capture any ghosts on film?
Me personally, I tend to get more anomalies on camera.
Right.
The EVPs are tough because most of the time, we're talking over it and you don't know what's going on and it's just really hard. But me personally, I tend to get more on camera. And even then, it's like you and I talked about last night, it could be anything.
Yeah.
It's really hard to tell.
Just playing tricks on you. It's hard to say unless it's definitive. You know what I mean? And with all the apps and stuff that they have out now, it's like it almost makes photography even just, you can almost just count it out. Because there's so many apps and people jack with stuff so much that it's like, it kills me to see all these photos that they put on and you don't see nothing in them except for the red marks around stuff that's supposed to be something. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing anything in the photo. What's the red circle supposed to be around? And then they get offended. And I'm like, if you put your stuff on Facebook or wherever, you're going to have people asking questions or critiquing it or, debunking it, period. I was telling you about that guy that put like 7 pictures on, and in every photo he would take different angles, but there would be the same little weird thing in the same spot of every photo. And we were like, dude, you just need to simply clean your lens off. And he got really mad. He goes, you wasn't there, I was there. And okay, we're just trying to tell you your lens is dirty. That's it. Not a paranormal occurrence, okay? There's not a ghost that looks like a boomerang floating from here to here to here in the same spot on your camera. Come on now.
It's hard, yeah. And even within TGG, we have people that, claim to have pictures and video of things, and that's when we just have to agree to disagree. It just is.
Let
again,
the individual think what they need. I mean,
yeah, I don't claim to have all the answers, so I can't definitively tell you it's not paranormal, but I can tell you what it might be. That's not paranormal.
And what it might not be. Some things are just better left alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I have the meetup site set so that everybody can post on it, because I think it's worth sharing, because even with those pictures, the newbies learn what's not paranormal. It's still an opportunity. And so I don't want to censor what people put on there, but if something's on there and it's clearly not paranormal, I mean, I'll comment on it. I mean, a lot of people will, but I think it's a great way to use that as a learning opportunity.
Exactly. And the newbies last night, they were so funny. They were cracking me up so much.
It was worth just watching them. I mean, that was more entertaining than anything else.
That's why I just set the stuff up, and after you got the boot from the spirits, he told you to get out twice. I was like, well, I don't want to leave her in there by herself. So I would go in there and just set my stuff up and go, here, let them have at it, And they got some stuff. They got some fun stuff. So
I am going to set that up again, because that was an interesting jail. I'm going to go back with the group, and I think it's worth checking it out again.
Yeah, I definitely. I know that Brandy, once the opera house is fixed.
Yeah,
I really want to go in there.
Well, and the great thing is that it's right there next to the Nut House Hotel. So there's 3 possible locations in one spot.
Yeah.
To make
distance.
all of and so I am going to try to maybe work that out with the Nut Hotel, so that we can have a bigger group and we can rotate out between the 2 places, and then or wait till the Opera House and have a third. I don't know, but Granbury by itself is a pretty interesting little town.
Yes, it is. I like the whole entire downtown area. It's just really cool, the square and everything.
Yeah.
But my cousins live there, and they've even told me a lot about Indian grounds out there, and livery stables, and Confederate, and I mean just all kinds of history out there. And then they have the Jesse James gravesite, out there at that at the cemetery that we were at. Now they don't think he's actually in there. Not sure. I think what did they say? Maybe in Missouri or somewhere like that.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of different things.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but that cemetery was pretty interesting too, because it was just really old and had a weird feel to it. Pretty much all the founders of that town are buried there. But the Nut Hotel does have activity too. Penny and I stayed in there. We did get activity in there as well. And I know that Everyday Paranormal got some activity in the theater when they were here. So, we'll see. I hope we can get in there.
And there is a campground. There is a campground there in Granbury that I found some stories of phantom Indians and horses and things. And so, and it doesn't seem to be very expensive to rent some of the cabins out there. So I'm going to try to work that out for the group as well when the weather is not quite so chilly.
Yeah.
Last night was freezing. Oh my gosh.
Yes, it was. I want to know about your camping trip that you had with I forgot to ask you about that camping trip that you had with the serial killer manager.
Yeah, Jackie and I ended up being the only 2 that went. The other 3 ladies ended up getting sick just before the trip. And there was no serial killer down there, but he looked like a serial killer. He came out to the street to meet us, and he had his lantern, and he held it up, and he just looked really ragged and rugged and just kind of scary. And
Looked like Friday the 13th camp guy.
Seriously.
On the back.
Jackie said, oh, great, we're going to die. Thank you so much. Nice.
That's
but
great.
The campground, when you go into it, it's not very well lit. It's a dirt road, and it curves around, and there's like this broken down children's playground. It's kind of creepy in the dark, And you can go down to the river, but it's really, really, really ruthless down there because the bathrooms it left a lot to be desired. Let's put it that way. You know, it's just really rough. But you know, it was an interesting place just to check out. There was a shrine out on the road where a woman had been killed by her boyfriend. So there's this little shrine that was built there. And then right across the highway is a little cemetery of, I believe it's 3 infants that died under suspicious circumstances. They believe, at least the story that I was told, that the mother had killed the infants, but again, it's, you know, not a confirmed story. But it's right behind the Shell station, and it's all fenced off, and it's kind of a strange little thing right there, you know. Yeah, it's really interesting. So, you know, I always feel like anything that has history is worth checking it out. You may not get anything, but, you know, the experience is still, you know, pretty good, interesting by itself. But, yeah, I don't know that we'll go back because it is so far. It's south of San Antonio. Yeah. So it was quite the drive, you know, for a one-night investigation.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of driving to San Antonio, man. I mean, good God, I think I've been down there about 9 times this year. In the past 12 months, in between going to Helena, Texas, and you had to go through there to get to Corpus Christi, you know. I mean, I've been to Seguin, freaking not Yorktown, Yoakum Hospital twice or whatever. It's just crazy. I went to Helena 2 nights in a row when I was with EP, so it was just, I've been down there so many times. I'm ready to go north or east.
Well, and you know, I'm glad you said that because I am looking at some places in Oklahoma, you know, and trying to find some places, you know, right across the border, you know, not too far, maybe a little further, but I am trying to find some locations in Oklahoma for us to go to.
Well, cool. Well, we're about out of time, so how about you tell everybody how they can find you and how they can get signed up with TGG real quick.
You can find us on meetup.com. If you do a search for Texas Ghostly Gatherings, you can find us there, or you can find us on Facebook, and I constantly post links, you know, to join on there. Yeah, you can definitely find us. It's not that hard. We're kind of everywhere.
You sure are, and I really appreciate you being on the show tonight, and definitely we'll have you back so we can update everybody on all the things that you got going on. Maybe they'll want to sign up and get going on these cool adventures that you got going on.
I would love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you soon, girl. Have a good evening.
Night. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, thanks to my friend Annette for joining me tonight. She's so awesome. We have such a great time together. You've got to check out her group, Texas Ghostly Gatherings. Make sure you look them up on Facebook and sign up on Meetup because she does really cool stuff for very affordable prices. They're not crazy at all. I want to take a minute and thank my sponsors. I want to thank Syntex Roof Systems in Waco. I want to thank Flanagan's Party Barn, Shamrock Pest Control, Ace, Saba with Barry Harger. Get your skinny on. Check out Barry, and he can hook you up with some Ace and get the pounds going off of you because guess what? I'm on it too. I just started mine, so we'll see the transformation happen. And also Able Towing. You can look us up, Fear Paranormal, on Facebook and give us a like. You can look us up on the internet at fearparanormal.wix.com/fear-1, and that will get you to our new and improved website. Also, Close to Death Facebook page. You can go on there and give that a like. And next week's guest is my very special friend Chip Coffee. You cannot miss that. It's going to be an amazing hour, so be there. Peace out. Thanks for joining.
Where there's a great roof in Central Texas,
we're on it.
Home roofs, any roof, every shape, every size, large or small.
We're on it.
We're Centex Roof Systems, your hometown roofer. Now through Wednesday, get a free professional inspection and a free quote.
Centex Roof Systems. There's a good roof in town.
We're on it.
Call Centex Roof Systems today at 751-7700 or visit us on the web at centexrs.com.